Would the offender please introduce yourself for the record, stating your name and DOC number?
My name is Roderick Jackson, 121179.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Let me explain the process here. First, I will read information into the record, then the board will conduct a parole interview with you. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Do you understand the process, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is the case for Roderick Jackson, DOC number 121179, date of birth, August 18, 1967, classified as a third felony offender. Offense, armed robbery. Sentencing date, May 16, 1988. Sentenced to a total of 99 years. Parole date, August 18, 2012. Good time, June 17, 2053. Full term, December 8, 2086. Is this information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Marabella.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson. My name is Tony Marabella. Your case was assigned to me, so I'll be the first person to talk with you today. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jackson, how old are you, sir?
54,
Okay. And how long have you been in prison on these charges?
34 years.
Tell me a little bit about your work experience while you've been in prison. What have you done while you've been in prison, work-wise?
Well, I started off just basic field work, but since I've come to David Wade, I've been working in the kitchen as a janitor and cleaner. I started out as, but for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been working as a baker.
How long have you been at Wade?
Since 2001.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Tell me a little bit about the crime. What happened?
Well, it was a robbery that went bad. It went wrong, and the victim was shot.
Well, I mean, all robberies are bad. So tell me how this one went bad. What do you mean by that?
Well, no one was supposed to get hurt. It was never my intention that anybody got hurt.
Now, you were originally charged and convicted with armed robbery and attempted murder. I've reviewed your file, and it appears that the Court of Appeals threw out the murder charge. Is that the attempted murder charge? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall why?
Not off the top of my head. I think it was double jeopardy.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you've accomplished. You're a member of Toastmasters?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been a member of Toastmasters?
Maybe 5 years.
Okay. Tell me about Toastmasters and tell me what you've learned with that program.
Well, Toastmasters is a program that teaches you to build confidence, and it allows you to speak in public. And what I've learned from the program is that not to be nervous when I'm in front of an audience, and to have my voice carry when I speak, so that will be easily understood.
Okay. Now, in looking at your disciplinary record, you've had 159 write-ups.
Yes, sir.
And your last one was in 2015. So tell me about all of those write-ups, and tell me why you haven't had one in the last 7 years.
Well, the reason for all those write-ups, my time in prison has not been. It has been difficult and full of hardships. And not only that, I've been hard-headed. It's hard for me to learn lessons. And I guess over the last 7 years, I've taken notice of the lessons I've had to learn.
Yeah. What are some of the best programs that you recall having taken, and what do they mean to you?
I've taken anger management, and anger management taught me that anger is not necessarily a bad emotion. It's an emotion that everybody has, but it's the way you express it that can be wrong. I've taken victim awareness, and victim awareness taught me that the victims are never at fault. They are never wrong. And you can have more, it's more than just the person the crime was committed on that is a victim. You can even victimize society.
Now, you lost 250 hours of good time, and then you restored it.
Yes, sir.
And you have 240 hours of credit. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the crime. Let's go back to 1987. Were you drinking or doing drugs of any kind?
Yeah, I was drinking and drugging was basically my life.
Tell me when you started using drugs.
I was rather young, maybe 12, 13.
What did you start using?
I started out smoking marijuana.
Okay. And what did you progress to?
I progressed to smoking PCP, embalming fluid, shooting heroin. Just it was a downhill spiral.
Were you doing drugs at the time this crime was committed?
Yes, sir.
Were the drugs, how often were you using heroin?
Maybe 3 times a week.
For how long?
A few years, couple years.
During the time while you've been in prison, I know you've taken AA and you've taken a couple of substance abuse programs. What have you learned through the substance abuse programs while you've been in prison?
Well, I learned that being an alcoholic and being a drug addict, I'm powerless against those drugs. My sense of reasoning is virtually non-existent. So to be able to function, I have to stay away from those drugs. And I've learned that like the 11th step of AA says, sought through prayer and meditation, I have tried to improve my conscious contact with God as I understand it.
In any of those 159 write-ups, how many of them were involving either drugs or alcohol?
A good many of them.
When was the last time you had drugs or alcohol while you've been in prison?
2011.
Tell me what your sobriety plan is going to be once you get out.
My sobriety plan is to continue attending AA and NA meetings and to have a line of communication with my family that would allow me to seek their help when I need it.
Where would you be living if you were to get paroled?
In Natchitoches, Louisiana.
And who would you be living with?
I would be living with my father.
What kind of work would you be doing? I understand possibility of working at QSI Sanitation. What is that? And would you be doing that?
Yes, sir. They clean factories when they are shut down, and they sanitize plants when the plants are shut down.
Okay. How many AA meetings do you think you need to go to per week?
At least 2.
And how long do you think you have to go to those meetings?
I'll probably be going to AA meetings for the rest of my life.
What are some of your triggers?
Some of my triggers are high emotions, anger, frustration.
Now, you appeared before the parole board back in 2019, right?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, you were denied, and it was suggested that you do certain things.
Yes, sir.
One of the things was that you take thinking for a change, and you took that, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
More anger management courses, and you took that, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Did you do the pre-release course?
No, sir, I haven't done pre-release yet.
Okay, and why haven't you done that one?
I haven't been eligible for it.
He's got due to the length of his sentence, Mr. Marabella, he hasn't come up to be scheduled yet. He's with his earliest release date being 2053. But we can schedule him and get him that program if the pro board requires it.
Okay, good.
Prior to any granting of the hearing or granting of the release or anything.
Good, thank you. And I also believe at the time, in the last hearing, your risk factor was moderate, and you've reduced that to a low. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What would you say to the family of the victim or today if they were here to listen to you?
Well, I would like to express my deepest heartfelt sorrow for the pain and agony that my actions caused. And while I may never be able to compensate for the harm I've done, I would ask that they please be assured that that immature, selfish drug addict is no longer the man I am today.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Warden, can you tell us a little bit about Mr. Jackson?
Well, he has been here since 2000, as he mentioned. He's been here a little over 20 years, and he used to get a lot of write-ups, as his record indicates. He spent a good bit of time in our cell blocks. But starting in 2015, he's really, for whatever reason, he made a significant change in his institutional behavior and his institutional activities. He got involved. He worked his way out of the cell block to begin with by stopping getting write-ups and improving his attitude and other things. And since 2015, he's gotten an honor card. He's held a job for over 5 years, the same job working in the kitchen, as he mentioned earlier. He hasn't had a write-up since 2015. And you mentioned the fact I did restore his good time. He got 250 days of good time restored back in 2018 after he went 3 years without a disciplinary report. So he's made a huge improvement over the last 6 years. He was a wildcat for a while, Mr. Marabella, but he's calmed down quite a bit, and he's doing very well, and he's focused on positive things, and his records at the institution reflects that.
Great. Thank you very much, Warden. I appreciate your comments. Madam Chairman, that's all the questions I have.
Thank you, Mr. Marabella. Mr. Jackson, is there a statement you'd like to make to the parole panel before we vote?
Yes, I'd just like to say that the person I am today is I'm a person full of compassion and remorse for the wrongs I've done. And while I may never be able to pay for the harms I've done, I would like to say that it is through my efforts to become close to the Creator, Jehovah, that has allowed me to change and become a better person.
Thank you, sir. I think that we're prepared to vote. We'll start with Mr. Marabella.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Jackson, just want to commend you for an excellent job that you've done while you've been in prison, at least for the last 7 years. You've done remarkably well. You had a rough struggle, as you talked about, and as the warden talked about when you first came in. You had a pretty rough history as you come through there. But in the last 7 years, you have done a complete turnaround. You have, from the last time that you were before this parole board, which was in 2019, you've lowered your risk to a low level. You've performed all of the things that they've asked you to do, save the pre-release program, and you've done a lot of things. You've got some good comments from the warden. I think you've got a good sobriety plan. I think you understand your addiction. It's a day-to-day thing. It's nothing that's going to go away. And when you said, I'll have to go to AA meetings for the rest of my life, that's a fact. That's the way it's going to have to be. Based upon all of those things, my vote today is going to be to conditionally grant your parole upon your completing the pre-release program, the 100 hours of pre-release. Warden indicated he could get you in that program and help you get into that program. So that would be the condition subsequent to your release. Once you are released, the conditions would be 3 AA meetings per week, a curfew for at least the first 6 months. Your parole supervisor can determine longer or less, but for the first 6 months from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. I'd also like you to go to your parole supervisor weekly for the first 60 days. Now, I'm going to leave that up to your parole supervisor, because if you get a job that requires, that might make that more difficult, I'm going to leave that up to them. And I'd also like you to do 5 hours of community service work. You speak very well. I think you've got a good story to tell, and I think you could help a lot of people not get where you are. So that would be my vote. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Marabella. Ms. Wise.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Jackson, is it your intention to go to Texas or stay in Louisiana? Or that's kind of up in the air?
I'm gonna stay in Louisiana at least for a couple of years.
Okay, all right then. But sir, I want to commend you as well on the work that you've done. And my vote is to grant for the reasons already stated, and I concur with the recommendations already stated on the record. Best wishes to you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson, based on the comments by Warden Goodwin and the work that you've done, my vote is the same. So with the same special conditions. So today, sir, you received a unanimous vote to grant you parole. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Warden Goodwin, I think that concludes our business at David Wade. So we'll adjourn. It's 11:41. Thanks for accommodating us today.